All right, good evening. We are going to take you through the benefits of vertical fasting. And our slogan here is getting back to a healthy state. So let's go into it. And hopefully we can do this under 15 minutes. First things first, I am not a doctor. I'm sharing my experience. Before you start any fasting program, please consult your doctor. If you've got type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, underlying heart condition, you need to consult your doctor or anything else. Um, Vertical fasting is not for everyone. So, do the right thing. Make sure you're healthy enough to start if this is what you want to pursue. Let's talk about the agenda. So I'm going to talk about what vertical fasting is. I'll also talk about the 5 stages of fasting, as well as my experience with vertical fasting, why I believe it works, as well as how it's sustainable in the long run, and what I've done during a 20-hour fast in terms of just different activities, which has been very adventurous. We'll talk about my results as well as how you can get started. All right, let's get into it. So, what is vertical fasting? Really, vertical fasting, at the end of the day, really comes down to extending the fast periods to maximize hormonal benefits. We need to get vertical with that because everyone can't start off on a 20-hour fast or a 24-hour fast. So you got to gradually get there, whether it's you start off at a 10-10, a 12-12, or 16-8. But the goal is to get you to the deeper fasts. And that's really the trick. It's hard. Everyone can't just do it right off the clip. But with our program, the way we try to get people from a 16-8 into a 20-4, typically works fine, well, and you'll see the different options in terms of the programs that we offer. But anyways, at the same time, there are different types of fasts, and we kind of talked about it: 16-8, 20-4, 24-hour, 36, 48-hour. I mean, the benefits are in the longer fast, and that's where we try to get you to. In this program, there's no calorie counting. You pick your meal plan. There's no restrictive meal plan that we have, because we think that at the end of the day, plans or diet fads will always, they'll produce results, but at the end of the day, they're not sustainable. So you pick your meal plan that you feel comfortable, that you feel as though you can complete the program. At the end of the day, we also try to show you how to land the plane on the longer fast, what foods to eat, what to drink, and get you prepared for the next one. So let's talk about the 5 stages of fasting. So in stage 1, you're in the feeding stage at 0 to 4 hours. Your nutrient sensors, like after a meal, you just ate a meal, and your nutrient sensors are, they start to rise. So insulin, mTOR, they jump on the scene. Things need to get broken down as well as, stored for energy. So, you break down your carbohydrates, into glucose, and then that gets stored as glycogen in the liver. Your fats get stored as triglycerides, excuse me, and they get stored away as well. So after that period, you get into the second stage, which is the post-absorptive stage, which is anywhere from 4 to 16 hours. And most people, don't get into this stage because they're constantly eating something. Because every time you eat, your nutrient sensors start to, rise. Your insulin rises, mTOR rises, all those things. They're basically there every time you eat. And most people are constantly eating, so they don't get to hour 16. And hour 16 is very crucial because once you get into that period, your body, your insulin levels drop, and so does an mTOR, and your counter-regulatory hormones jump on the scene. Your cortisol, your synthetic tone, your HGH, as well as noradrenaline, these are pulling, they start to pull fat from your deep stores. So at hour 16, you're still not burning or consuming fat as your fuel source. You're still burning off of some of the stored glucose in the liver, but you're kind of in an intermediate period, and that's when you get into the third stage of fasting, and that's from hours 16 to 30. That's called gluconeogenesis, and what that means is the body's in this in-between period of between fats and or triglycerides and glucose. So the body starts breaking down proteins. This is the stage where autophagy kind of kicks in. And autophagy means basically to self-consume oneself. So the body starts breaking down proteins, converts them into glucose, and that's what you're deriving your energy from. Now, people want to say, hey, you're breaking down proteins, you're converting them into glucose as energy. That's muscle. I'm not down with that. But that's not the case. What you're breaking down, and from an autophagy perspective, you're breaking down compromised connective tissue proteins. Most people who are overweight have 50 to 30% excess proteins. So you're breaking all that loose skin down. That's why when you do any type of fasting program, you don't have loose skin, because you go through autophagy at that hour. When you get to the 16th hour, you start kicking and breaking down those proteins and using them as fuel, as the fuel source, before you kick into the fourth stage, which is basically where you're completely, and that's, that could be hour 30 to 48. That's the 2-day fast where you're completely burning fats, and the byproduct of those fats that you're burning are ketones. So you got fats, triglycerides, and that are being broken down, and the byproduct of that is basically ketones. You're in a state of ketosis, so they say. And once you get to stage 5, which is anywhere from 6 to 7 days, which I've never done, now your levels in terms of your ghrelin levels start to decrease as well. And that's basically what regulates hunger. So you don't have those hunger pains anymore, because your body's you're getting all your substance from the triglycerides, and you're burning fat at a high rate, and that's where you're sustaining yourself. So you're still in a state of ketosis, and you're still breaking down, pulling the deep fat stores that your body has. So those are the 5 stages. And I will tell you this: once the key stage to kind of look at is really stage 3, 16 to 30 hours, because that, when you get anywhere from 16 to 30 hours, when you get those counter-regulatory hormones, your HGH levels start to go up. And when HGH levels start to go up, that's when everything kind of gets multiplied by 2 or 3 or 4 in some cases, because now you're building muscle, your performance goes up, you're able to do more, you're able to burn more fat. It's a huge advantage. That's one of the keys I see. Let's go on to the next slide, and I'm going to talk to you about my experience. So I would say in my 30s, I started to get a little chubby, get a little overweight. I burned a lot of it off. But then getting into my 40s, that stuff stuck on. And I did not think I would ever get back to a state where I could see my abs. But this year, I ballooned all the way up to 273 pounds. I said, hell no, I'm not going out like that. So I started a fasting program in January. I wasn't happy with the results when I did my mid-year review, which is in June, and that's where I came up with vertical fasting. Starting July 1, I was doing 20-hour, 24-hour fast, for the month of July. I did a couple of longer fasts in July. I think I did one 48-hour fast, and so on. So from my perspective, I just knew I needed to make a change. And, we'll kind of go into exactly my experience. So like I said, I did one 50-hour fast in June. I did probably about, from July to August, I think I did 40, one 40-hour fast. I did 8 24-hour fasts. I did 42 20 by 4-hour fast. And then I did 10, 16 by 8. Now, the only reason why I did 16 by 8 because I was on vacation, and my wife was getting bored of me not eating, at opportune times. So I had to kind of cut the fasting down. But like I said, first 6 months of the year, 10 pounds. The last, if you look at my results in July and August, 17.6, 10.8, fat just ripping off and in the right spots, in the gut, around the gluteus maximus. And again, a lot of work, but fasting has really accelerated the fat burning in the right places. So I went from, and I'm just doing the dates here. So I did from January to August, I lost 42 pounds, and I'm still losing weight today. All right, so let's talk about my what I've done, which has been very adventurous. But before we do that, let's talk about how vertical fasting is sustainable in the long term. Again, you pick the meal plan. So usually with diets, I told you early about this, people get bored with, it becomes monotonous in terms of, yeah, I'm eating cookies, yeah, I'm eating salad, yeah, I'm just eating vegetarian. With vertical fasting, at the end of the day, you pick your meal plan. You're eating real food, you're eating your food. You're just being very disciplined in terms of when you eat and when you fast. So it's not a big change, because the only thing that will buy you or, not show great success with this diet is alcohol, because those counter-regulatory hormones I talked about, they go down when you consume a lot of alcohol. I mean, I've talked to some people about fasting. Some people, I've had to correct them in a couple of cases where, coming out of a fast, they would start right off the bat having a glass of wine, a beer. No, don't do that. Have that maybe, if you're doing a 16 by 8, maybe in the 4th hour, have a glass of wine, have a beer if you have to. But at the end of the day, alcohol is not your friend in this process. So let's talk about cost. There's no pills, powders, surgeries, or cold sculpting. So you're not paying for anything except the food. You just need to be disciplined. And that's how it's easy to follow. Follow the fast, eat when you're supposed to eat, and, fast when you're supposed to fast. Don't cheat. You'll be very successful if you're disciplined. So now let's get to what I've done in the midst of a 20-hour fast or a 24-hour fast. I've played golf. I've snorkeled. I've done a half marathon in a fasted state and held that marathon, or held the after running the half marathon, held the fast for another 4 to 5 hours to get maximum fat burning benefits. I've gone to the gym, lifted weights, did that. Very easy, very simple. Again, your body, when you're in a fasted state, you're getting all of your energy. Your body's breaking down, pulling all that fat from your deep stores, and that's what you want. And breaking that down as energy, and that is sustaining you. Let's talk about my results. So the guy on the left, that's when it's probably my 20th day of really getting serious about my fast. I'm still a little chubby, but then you can see probably, about 14, 15 days later, I'm not doing a whole bunch of, running, going to the gym. No, I'm not. It's really the fasting is what's really doing this. Because again, the HGH levels are up. So I'm building muscle. I'm experiencing autophagy. So I'm breaking down, any loose skin, anything that the body deems as unnecessary. So fat's coming off, compromised, skin, connective tissue, you name it, it's coming off. My chest actually looks like, my chest when I was 20, 19, 20, 25, very muscular, and my legs sculpted as well. So far so good in terms of the transformation. Again, autophagy, HGH, those counter-regulatory hormones, I'm getting the benefit from them. And that's really the key. And that's why this program is highly successful, and I think better than most weight loss programs out there. Because again, with autophagy, and when you get into those longer fasts, you're breaking down those excess proteins that you don't need. The body deems them as unnecessary, and that's why, at hour 16 and beyond, they stop breaking those. Before you stop burning fats, they're using those proteins, breaking it down and using it as glucose, which we talked about, the gluconeogenesis, that process. That's it. All right. How do you get started? And what's the price? So I recommend a 12-month subscription because I think most people, fasting is not going to be the easiest thing to do. So there's going to be some stopping. There's going to be some starting. There's going to be some reconfiguring, some course correcting. But to do this program with a year subscription, it's $1,050, and you will get your money's worth. And like I said, no pills, powders, surgeries, or cold sculpting. You're going to get the benefits of those counter-regulatory hormones, as well as the benefits of doing those workouts and maximizing and getting those benefits. I mean, I laugh sometimes when I see people working out, and the first thing they do after they work out is feed. They want to eat. If you can hold that fast, you're burning more fat by holding the fast than, as soon as you're done, go run and eat, a whole bunch of carbs and protein. So that's key. 6-month subscription for those who are a little bit more advanced. You've done some fasting. You're comfortable with a 16-hour fast. This is the one I recommend for you, because really we get you on the path of fasting, and we show you the different times, when to work out, how to work out, what are the best workouts to do, as well as once you're done, how to come down off that fast, what foods to eat. That's the only, guidance we give you, because you can't just eat a whole bunch of food if you're coming off like a longer fast. You got to land the plane. Same thing with some of the workouts. But that's the program. There's no hard sell here. If we haven't provided you with all of the information you need to make a decision, then at the end of the day, we haven't made our job. But I can tell you personally, you sign up for one of these subscriptions, we're going to get you to where you need to. And if we don't, then, we might be giving you money back. But at the end of the day, our goal is for you to be successful, you to be healthy, you to, live a more fuller life. And I can say one of the biggest benefits that I've seen here or experienced, it's not just that, I've got the body now of a 30-year-old, the fact that my mind is sharper. I'm doing this presentation, and I'm just starting my fast, so I can't say I'm in a deep fasted state. But the mental clarity in terms of experiencing the effects of fasting, I can say, are just tremendous. So go ahead and click that button, make your selection. Hopefully we see you on the other side. Again, we want folks who are going to be committed to this program and want to lose some serious weight and be able to sustain that going forward. And again, don't make no, New Year's resolutions. Don't wait to make a New Year's resolution. Handle your business now. Get your weight in order, because, if you got your health, then you got your wealth. Have a good night.